Daddy shark, Daddy shark, Daddy shark.
Grandma shark, Grandma shark, Grandma shark, Grandma shark.
Grandpa shark, Grandpa shark, Grandpa shark, Grandpa shark. Let's go hunt, let's go hunt, let's go hunt, let's go hunt.
Run away, run away, run away, run away. Safe at last, safe at last, safe at last, safe at last.
Hey, Mr. Miharis will have a quiz today, right?
What? Really? Oh no, I forgot.
Yeah, right. Oh, I didn't study last night.
Me too. What are we gonna do?
Let's just review, guys, and let's share what we remember about his discussion yesterday.
Yeah, right. That's a better idea.
Shining bright, my beloved student.
Good morning, Mr. Mihares.
Today, we will tackle about Gestalt insight theory. So, our topic for today is about Gestalt insight theory. So class, this theory is concerned with how the mind views processes in connection to the notion that the whole is greater than its part. The whole is greater than its parts. So based upon this belief, Gestalt psychology developed a set of principles to explain perceptual organization, or like how the smaller objects will become a large ones, or how the smaller objects are grouped to form large ones. So basically these principles are often referred to as the law of perceptual organization, which means a unified whole. So the theory is based actually on the concept of grouping, which is like the properties of stimuli cause us to interpret or like interrupt a field of vision or dilemma in a certain or in a specific way. Okay, so class, for example, when you are describing a house, we can say that its parts are doors, we can see the windows, and of course ceiling. But when you look at the entire house, we are not aware or we are not conscious of the parts, but we are aware of the overall object, which is the house. So basically we can say, class, that parts are of secondary importance even though they can be clearly seen. The best example of Gestalt is face or face recognition. So Wolfgang was a German psychologist known for his contribution towards his creation about the Gestalt psychology. His studies on the cognitive processes of apes allowed him to develop insight learning, which he later published in his novel, which was entitled Mentality of Apes. Oh, I guess we don't have enough time. Please continue reading the context about our topic today because tomorrow we will have our quiz. And that should be fine, right?
Yes,
Yes, sir!
And that's what Mr. Miharis discussed yesterday. And also last night, I continued to read the topic, and here's what I understand. I found out the proximity, similarity, continuance, closure, and finding ground are the primary factors that determine the grouping, or also known as the law of organizations. Proximity means closeness, either in terms of physical distance, personal relationship, or length of time. Similarity refers to the tendency for humans to group together objects or stimuli that seem similar to each other. Continuity or continuance refers to vision and is the tendency to create continuous patterns and perceive connected objects as uninterrupted. Closure explains how humans fill in the visual gaps in order to perceive disconnected parts as a whole object. Connectedness, or fine and ground. It refers to the perception of uniform or linked spots, lines, or areas as a single unit. When these forms are linked together or uniform, they simply appear to form a single unit and seem to go together. The primary goal of the Gestalt theory is to encourage the brain to view not just the whole, but also the parts that make up that whole. The main principles of the Gestalt theory in learning are: teachers should encourage their students to discover the relationship of the elements that make up a problem. Incongruities, gaps, or disturbance are essential stimuli in learning process. Educational instruction should be based on the laws of organization.
So you studied well last night, huh? Thank you, Faith.
Now I understand the theory. I will try to give an example. This theory can apply in the classroom. This theory proposed that the student should be encouraged to discover the relationship among the various elements underlying a topic or a problem. The teacher, as a facilitator of learning, needs to recognize the wholeness of a unit of a study or a problem. However, this does not mean that the gaps, inconsistencies, or disruptions in the learning process should be ignored. These are also a key learning factors, and when presented with these learning factors, a student will attempt to fill in the gaps in order to gain a complete understanding of what is being studied. Lastly, instruction should be based on organizational laws, just what Faith told us earlier. The construction of connections between the lesson and the right arrangement of visual aids on the board are two concrete examples of its application. When the teacher facilitates a sense of wholeness in the learning subject, learning occurs. For example, just what Mr. Miharis did yesterday, he prepared the right arrangement of the visual aids for us to easily understand the theory and explain the topic well for a better understanding.
Yes, Kay, that's right.
So So earlier, we all know that Wolfgang Kohler was a German psychologist known for his contribution towards the creation of Gestalt psychology. So now we are talking about the published novel of him, which entitled The Mentality of Apes. So this book shares the cognitive processes of apes, which allowed him to develop the theory of insight learning. So this research of him was greatly influenced the field of behavioral psychology and provided the psychologist with a better understanding of intelligence and learning. So now I am sharing to you the experiments he conducted. This fundamental experiment is the illustration of learning by insight. So he uses chimpanzees due to their brains were closely resembling those of humans, and he believed that he would likely be able to observe human traits from them and gain knowledge on the nature of intelligent acts through these animals. So the experiment started with the chimpanzees were shut up in a room filled with objects such as wooden crates and bamboo sticks, and the banana was hanging on a string from the ceiling. So the observation goes like this. At first, the apes would repeatedly jump for the bananas before seemingly giving up. However, instead of giving up, the apes sit down and think for a while. So at that moment, the chimpanzees has a flash of insights and then began attempting to get the banana in a specific way, whether it be stacking the boxes and climbing up to get the banana or using the sticks and knocking them down. See? The insight was not always successful upon the first attempt, right? However, after several tries, the apes experienced a flash of insights and starting to figure it out to stack them in a way that would allow him to get the banana without tipping over it. So let's move on to the second part of the experiment. The chimpanzees was individually placed within a cage, and each has 2 bamboo sticks while positioning the banana outside the cage. So the observation goes like this. The apes trying to simply reach for the banana with their arms before figuring out again that it wouldn't work, and would sit down for a while and notice that the chimpanzees had a flash of insights. And then they began to try to fix the 2 bamboo sticks together and use that as an extension for their arm in order to reach the banana. So, in a conclusion, the apes all experienced a flash of insights, but at a varying levels of quickness. In both parts of the experiment, Wolfgang Kohler noticed the chimpanzees experiencing a flash of insights, also known as the eureka moment. By this, he deduced that animals not only experience trial and error, which was earlier theorized by fellow psychologist Edward Thorndike, but also insight learning. This one proved that apes do have mental capacity to experience flashes of insights as humans do. So this fundamental experiment is significant as it was a radical revision to learning theory in terms of animals, intelligence, and behavior. And this led to the mentality of apes being one of the most famous work in animal psychology today. And that's it for this time.
Good day, students. How's your day? Okay, that's good to hear. Shining bright. Students, are you ready to take the quiz?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good to hear. Okay, let's start our quiz. Number 1.